Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you could be here alongside. Hey, Jan.
Hey, Steve. Hey, everybody.
Got Jan from Save Money and More with Jan. This time,
Perfect. There you go.
what we're going to discuss is making something from scratch at home versus going out and buying it, or preparing a meal at home versus going out and eating out, takeout, that type of thing. So um, we're going to do that. And, you and I were chit chatting a little bit earlier, just before we came on here. We were talking about a Italian cookie that we both like. It's called a pizzelle or pizzelli. And I know, you know, you have something to say about that.
I do. I do. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me here, Steve.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
always fun to be on your channel. You know, every year, I don't know what it is. I guess it's the holiday spirit or just tradition or whatever. I start craving certain foods, right?
Hmm.
And there's this cookie. It looks like a giant snowflake, and it's very, very thin. Perhaps you've seen them in the grocery store. And they're called pizzelles or pizzellis, however way you prefer to say it.
Hmm.
And always, Steve, I always wanted a pizzelli machine because I've seen people make these, snowflakes. The cookies are so, so good,
Yeah.
but they really require a lot of work. I'm not saying they're not delicious. I'm not saying they're not going to come out great, but they require a lot of work. And I have a relative that I was sitting next to while they were making it and making it. This is a few years ago. And I'm thinking, oh, I should get me one of those pizzelli machines, right? But the truth of the matter is that same relative said to me, Jen, do yourself a favor, just buy the cookies. And for like $6, $7 once a year for these wonderful cookies that come in different flavors, anisette flavor, anise, or vanilla, or
Right. The whole.
you mentioned some other flavors, right? Strawberry or lemon.
Yeah. One of the wholesale clubs that I have a membership with, I've tried several. The anise or anise is good. The
Mm.
vanilla, the chocolate, strawberry I haven't tried. Lemon pizzelli is outrageous. If you like the taste of lemon, lemon is always, I don't know what it is about the lemon flavor. I think I might have found a lime one at one time. I don't remember
Oh my
exactly.
word!
But I haven't tried the strawberry. That's one that's definitely next on my list if I can find it. Um, I was about to mention that according to what I see here on one of the websites that you and I like to shop, you can actually buy a Pizzelli maker for about $40. They make it.
They're not expensive, but I did a lot of thinking, Steve. They're not expensive, relatively speaking. But in my case, okay, when would I, Janet, use a Pizzelli machine?
Right.
One time a year. Honestly, maybe I would consider it for Easter, twice a year. So when I make any purchase, because of the frugal person that I am, Steve, I think of the overall experience. Is this something I'm going to really like use, or is it going to be something that takes up precious real estate in a small New York City apartment? So
Hmm.
for me, the factors are individual. Everybody's different. If you have a bigger place, if you use it more frequently for $40, that's a gift.
Yeah.
It all
And then
depends on your situation,
it
really.
it really does. And from the looks of the machine itself, it kind of reminds me of kind of like a waffle iron because it opens up
You nailed it.
and you got the indention of where I guess because you got to pour the batter or whatever it is to make the cookie, and you close it.
Right.
um I don't know. I as much as it would be nice to make your own, don't get me wrong, making your own a lot of the time is nice, but again, is it really worth making your own versus buying it out in the store? For example, here's one, speaking of cookies. Um, at the Dollar Tree, they have a line of cookies that are called Little Dutch Made. Mind you, any of the Little Dutch Made varieties is $1.25. And you get a 10, 11, 12 ounce, you know, thing of cookies. But you stop and think, is it less expensive to do that versus making the cookie? I can tell you this, I have made peanut butter and I have made oatmeal and oatmeal raisin cookies many times. I assure you it is a lot less expensive to go across or wherever your Dollar Tree is. Mine's in the shopping center across from here. It is less to buy that particular brand of cookie versus making it on your own. That is a given fact. I don't know of any place you can go and buy a package of already set up cookies for $1.25.
And their chocolate sandwich cookies, Steve, while we're on the subject, I've had that brand. Don't keep a closed mind. If only you only want Oreo, 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 maybe save the $4 more that it'll cost you for that Oreo. Try the chocolate sandwich cookie from, let's say, that company for a fraction of the cost.
Mhm. Yeah, now years ago, this is before I knew about Little Dutch Made. I
Excuse
believe
me.
the company that made it, I don't think they're around anymore. This is showing, my age, and that's perfectly fine. Sunshine, it's a brand you don't see anymore. They always made a sandwich cookie called a Hydrox.
That's right.
That was a little bit less expensive than the Oreo. And the thing of it is, the Hydrox, I was just as happy with those as I was with the Oreos because what I really do, and even today I still do it, if I have an Oreo cookie or a chocolate sandwich cream or whatnot, I like a glass of milk and I'll
Yes.
dunk it. I've been known to do it with a cup of coffee, even. Um, but yeah, they have the chocolate ones are good. The duplex, which is
Yes,
two different ones, that's a good one. I know they have that one. Um,
they're good.
they have a version of windmill cookie called an almond et. Oh,
Love those.
right. So if you like that amaretto almond extract flavor, that's definitely one that's right up your alley. But there's so many different things. Is it really worth going out to get versus making it yourself, even in a restaurant? You know,
Steve, you brought up restaurant. I was going to ask you this. Aren't there wonderful ways? Like, I'm not advocating eating out every single day. No, of course, I'm a frugal person. But aren't there ways that and you've done it, that you could get around dining out, have the dining out experience without it really breaking the bank?
you can. All right. For example,
Like when you go to a buffet, for example?
right. I was headed that direction, in fact. If a person can find, or even if you're a senior, um, I know here at Golden Corral, I'll go ahead and mention it. No, I'm not sponsoring them, but if you have a buffet, even if you're not a senior, but let's say one that's, comfortably, decently priced, I would say go during lunchtime because you're going to get your better price. Um, like during the senior event that they have over there, it's about 2 hours. You can get your drink of choice, your buffet, and it's like 9.99, and you
Wow.
cannot beat that.
No,
You
that's
cannot.
reasonable for sure.
21.38 for two people, and you can go in there. Once you sit down, you can get your salad, your whatever you want off the buffet. It's really worth it. And think about this: for each time you go up and get another plate, one, two, however how many you eat, three, whatever amount, you're breaking down the amount that you pay. So let's say if you go and eat three plates, that's about a little more than about 350. Well, let me see, three. Yeah, that's about 350 per plate if you think about it. You are not. able, if somebody wants to mark me wrong, fine, be my guest. But I don't know of being able to go to the store and be able to prepare a meal for one person for $3.50. I really don't see,
No, no, you're right. No.
you know,
And I know
another
another way too. Take advantage of early bird specials at diners. Senior
early, right.
citizen. Yeah.
That's why I was saying if you're able to go during the lunch period,
Yes.
you'll get or like what you say, early bird diner, you'll get a better deal. Let's see. There's a good Chinese place. I wanted to bring this up. I do like fried rice. Fried rice is one of my favorite Chinese foods. Because you
Yum.
get everything in it. You got your rice, your vegetables, your meat if you want it. A vegetable fried rice. It comes in a styrofoam box. 4.95. If you want some type of meat in it, an extra dollar. And I can eat off of that twice.
I was going to
So
say, aren't those portions on the big side? That's good.
you do have a decent amount, right? You got the two and the one, but it's a styrofoam container. And
Right.
I can eat off of it twice, sometimes two and a half, depends. Um, and I love fried rice. I mean, I could probably eat that 2, 3 days a week. But can I go out and buy the stuff to make fried rice at home for about $2.50? No, because you got to have your vegetables, your rice, soy sauce, your vegetables, whatever you're going to put in it.
If you have the components already at home, that's a different issue from, oh, I have to go and buy the rice. I have to go and buy the veggies. I see where you're going with that, as
Mhm.
opposed to just picking it up at a fraction of the cost and still getting a couple of meals out of it. So it really varies about, sometimes it's just cheaper to just get it like you're describing.
Yeah, but I always vary out my yays and nays between making it, go out and get it.
Right.
Or
Depends. It all depends. It's the truth.
like for right now, um, here's a good one. Let me take it out of the package. I have it right here. Now, here is a Publix pecan pie. It's about half eaten.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that cost me $7.99. Can I go out and make a pecan pie for $7.99? The answer is no, because I'm thinking no. First off, pecans are expensive. They're not cheap.
That's right.
But there is an alternative to this, and I've had it before. Do you have to make a pecan pie? No. Can you use an alternate nut in its place? Yes. Why can't you make the same exact pie, but instead of using a pecan, you could use a walnut?
That's right.
And I've had walnut pie before. It's just like that. Just like that. The only difference is you've got walnuts in place of.
That
To
had to be
me,
amazing. I can only imagine.
it's just as good, I think. There was a time that me and my dad, this was many, many years ago, probably 1990, 91, on another side of town, there were these two guys sitting on the hood of their car selling pies. And at the time, they were about $2 a piece. Well, remember the time, too. That same pie now is probably about 6 or 8. And we bought one. And we were and Dad left, and we were going down the road. Steve, open the pie. So we opened it up. He ate some, I ate some. We fell in love.
Oh,
We went back to try and get another one. They were already gone.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. Oh,
Well,
gee.
one of two things. Either they were ran off, which I don't think, or they sold all the pies.
Probably sold out in a hurry.
But that was my only time I ever had a walnut pie, and I'm still thinking their grandmother or their mom.
Wow. Probably some person that at home person, thoroughly experienced. That sounds so yum.
Yeah, it was. It was. So that just goes to show, do you have to have pecans to make a no, you can do it with walnut. I like walnuts, period. I like walnuts in its exact stage. I like it as state. I like it as a snack. I can open the bag, pour some out, and eat it straight out. I have no problem with it.
Steve, I know you also love cranberry sauce, and I also know you love mandarin oranges. So while I heard the recipe, you're not even going to believe it, and it requires those two items. They call it cranberry relish. I heard this for the first time on some other channel. You buy the canned cranberry sauce, right? You get the canned mandarin oranges. You drain out the juice. I personally like the juice, but you have to drain it out for the recipe. And you cut up your cranberry sauce just a little bit, not mushy, just a little bit, and you throw in the mandarin oranges. And what do? Put a splash of crushed nuts on top, your favorite. I would say throw the walnuts on it. Does that not sound like an amazing relish or what?
It does. Across the street, and in fact, it's about this time of year, December. They do a turkey sub hoagie, whatever, but it's also got bacon on it in between.
Oh my.
But they do have a cranberry relish that they can either put on the sandwich or give it to you on the side. In fact, you can even
Wow.
buy it.
Nice.
Well, I always opt to get the relish on the side because I
Yeah.
eat the relish straight out.
Yeah.
And I do notice the cranberry. I notice an orange flavor about it too.
Yeah. They like to put that combination like cranberry orange muffins I've heard of, but I never saw this relish. And we could all do the relish, all of us, one, two, three. If you love mandarin oranges, I do, I do. If you love cranberry sauce, I do, I do. How could it be bad? It's got to be good.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think on the video they suggested crushed pecans, but why couldn't you do the walnuts either?
Oh, I love walnuts is fabulous. In fact, whenever I make my brownies,
Yeah.
I like to throw a hand. I don't measure a lot of the time when I cook or bake. I really don't. I'll get a handful and just toss it in the brownie batter and mix it in.
You eyeball it.
And let me tell you, my eyeballing is usually about 90% of the time right because it's not overly. But
Right.
walnuts is great in a brownie if you've never had it.
Oh my word. Oh no, I think that's a match made in heaven. And honestly, I think a brownie is incomplete without the crushed walnut in it. That's
Yeah.
what you feel. Yeah.
I mean, I've made brownies so many different ways. I've made brownies by themselves. I've made brownies with some peanut butter thrown in. That gives it a little bit of a Reese's effect, which is good.
Right.
I've put Nutella in
Oh,
it to give it that slight hazelnut, which
yes.
is that's good. And I've done it with and without the walnuts. I've done, and honestly though, that's another one. Is it cheaper to do brownies from scratch, which there's not really much to it? Flour, cocoa, your egg, and then whatever else you need. Or do you just go and buy a box of brownie mix in the store? Example, I've got a good one. Across the street, there I harp on Publix because they tend to do a lot of BOGOs, buy one get one. And there are times that I'll walk in and I'll see Duncan Hines brownies, Duncan Hines cake mix, buy one get one free. When you see that, you cannot beat that as far as price goes. It's cheaper just to buy that and make the brownie than it would be to make it from scratch. I know that firsthand because you're going to pay almost $2. You don't have to have Hershey's brand cocoa powder. You can do Nestle Toll House, a few dollars less, just as good.
Yeah.
That alone is going to cost you $2.50, and then you got to buy the flour.
It depends on
So,
the situation. Exactly.
Right. So you're better off a lot of the time if they do a BOGO, buy the BOGO. You get a better deal. And you can do a mix and match. If you want one brownie and a cake mix, you can do it.
Love it.
And I have a feeling that's about to come into effect, if not already, since we're pretty close to the holidays. Because Thanksgiving is just shy of 2 weeks away, lacking one day. And then after that, you've got Christmas. So a lot of things are going to start going on sale. You got to watch.
Got to keep your eye out for sure.
Right. In fact, I haven't looked, but the cake mix stuff may be on sale right now.
Yeah, usually box cake mixes go on sale around now. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
That way you can just have it in reserve if you want to bake a cake or do something as a dessert for, the holiday. So that's pretty much it. That pretty much concludes what I have to mention about, takeout, making from scratch, or making it at home.
Do the math. Sometimes it takes the person a minute to think carefully. Do the math. Is it exactly cheaper to do it this way versus that way? If it works out, go the cheaper route. Just takes a minute or so to do the math.
Mm-hmm.
Every situation is different. Every budget is different. If you're working with a $20 budget, for example, for your Thanksgiving meal, okay, it makes more sense for you to buy a box of stovetop than to go the whole route of buying everything to make stuffing. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
A box of stovetop for $1 versus doing everything else. If you only have a $20 budget for your Thanksgiving meal. So it always varies. Just do the math and see what works out best for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I stand corrected. Right now, not Duncan Hines brand, but Betty Crocker is BOGO.
Wow, that's great.
Betty Crocker is just as good a brand to me, quality as the Duncan. It's to step across, I think.
You don't need 3 eggs in a cake recipe. 2 is sufficient. That's my opinion. That's my experience. But I just mentioned this because, with egg prices going up again. They vary. They go up, they go down. But right now, they're on the uphill at the moment. It could change, hopefully soon. But that's another show.
Right.
Just keep your mind open and try generic things once in a while as well to watch out for your grocery bill. There's so many variables. There really, really are. Just have to pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To come back to the cake mixes and all, the brownie mixes, buy one, get one free. And from what I'm seeing here, I hear,
welcome to New York.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of Cagney and Lacey. Yes, that's another.
Almost every video I do lately. It's like, I don't know Anyway, that's another, shut up, Jen.
Right. So it just goes to show a box of brownie mix. Again, everything, any variety you want. Okay, so it's $2.99 for a box. Now, mind you, you're not getting the second one free. It's a BOGO. I always say half price, so it's basically $1.50 a box.
That's right. That's how you look at it.
Or even if you go the little bit fancier one, they got another one here. It's a little bit fancier, but anyway, $1.50 a box. Can you go buy your flour and chocolate powder? No. Can you buy your eggs for that? No. It just do this, honestly.
Right.
And like I said, Betty Crocker, another name that's been around since, God's creation, pretty much. I've used Betty Crocker. I've used Duncan Hines. To me, they're of the equivalent quality. Another brand I like is Pillsbury.
Yes.
So I would rate those 3 brands pretty much, a step across from each other. All right. Well, Jan, I'm glad you could stop by.
Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Always be on the lookout for Jan and myself. And if you like what you see, please, by all means, like and subscribe. I'm still trying to reach my 1,000 subscribers. And I'm basically right now, I'm in the 3/4 range to get there. But if you like my content, by all means, please like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. Well, anyway, hope all of you have a great whatever time of day it is. I or we will see you back here next time. Bye
Bye
for
bye,
now.
everybody.
Bye.